Hi there. I was able over the weekend to help a friend edit out a laundry room, a place that had become such a dumping spot for her that she had to move often 3 or 4 things out of the way just to get to her washer and dryer. How frustrating. We decided that we needed to tackle this project in a short amount of time because she needs that laundry room space every day. The children are creating more laundry as we're working. We had to get it back to working order. Sometimes in a space like a storage unit or a basement, you can take your time and leave things out and work your way through it. But sometimes that big mess is in a space that we need to function in rather quickly. That way, this plan is going to help you do that in those spaces that you need to own back. You're going to need a 4 to 5 hour chunk of time, and you're going to need the supplies that I suggested in another video for setting yourself up for editing success. You'll need cardboard boxes and labels. You may want to buy your containers that are going to stay in that room after, and I can talk about that in a little bit, but get some ways to get the stuff out of your room, out of your home, right to the thrift store. Have those on hand. She had gone out and gotten way too many boxes, but that's perfect. We'd rather have too many than too few, so that we could just take things literally from that room right out. When we were walking into that room, the first thing that we did was take every single item of clutter that was on the countertops or the floor, anything like that, and we took it out of the room and into a big open space in the living room. We were careful to keep it confined so that it didn't become confused with other spaces, and we tried to put things in general categories as we were bringing them out. We might put winter boots and coats together, kids' art stuff together, I don't know together. You can have an I don't know box. You know I love an I don't know or a maybe area. Once we had that room full of this, or emptied of the stuff that was making it so we couldn't even walk in there, then we started to go through the cabinets. We worked from left to right around the room, tackling one cabinet at a time. We asked some of these questions as we were working. What do I need in this cabinet? What am I always reaching for? What should be on the first shelf where I can grab right away? And what do I only use every 6 months, which could be up here? An example of that would be she has a pool and the kids are running in and out, and she does not have storage in a first floor bathroom. So we knew we wanted Band-Aids, sunscreen, and ice packs right front and center so that every time kids were coming in and out, she knew right where that was. We knew that we didn't need the Ace bandages and the Dr. Scholl's and Souls every time the kids came in and out, and that they didn't need access. So we knew that those items could go way up high, even behind. We definitely went through and defined and labeled each thing in her cupboard, editing out the excess, letting go of the expired things, throwing things away as we went. Once we finished going through all of those cabinets, which did not take very long, we literally put in there what we wanted, threw away what we didn't, moved to the other area, the stuff that didn't belong, but we didn't know where it was going to end up living. Now, once we had that done, we went straight out to that big, messy area, and we started our major sort. Things that were going to the thrift store went straight into boxes and right out to her car. We also put things that were going to be left over into like more specific, now more pared down general categories. Now, at this point in the process, your laundry room is starting to feel good because you've defined it, but now you're left with this big area worth of stuff, and you're like, oh, this is where it starts to get tricky. She had a moment of feeling overwhelmed, like, oh, this is supposed to go here, but that area is still messy, and this is supposed to go here, but that feels like it's not ready for those items. And that's when we started to get overwhelmed. Here's what I'm going to suggest to you. It happens to everyone at some point in the clutter. You're not alone. You're not inept. It happens to me still, even after all these years of doing this. What you want to do at this moment is take a break. Not a forever break, because you need to get that stuff out of your living room, but just a small break. If you can leave the house, maybe you can go get the containers that you know you'll want now, or maybe you can go get something pretty or go have some lunch. We might have done all 3 of those things during our break. And just take a little break from that. When you come back, you're going to have a perspective again, and you're going to be able to wrap those things up quickly. Even if you're only going into the other room and having a cup of tea and looking at a pretty picture for a minute, just take a 10-minute break of looking and deciding because your brain is just overwhelmed. It will come back, but that's a lot of decisions to ask of yourself. Just take a little rest. Once we came back from our break, then we were able to see this stuff with fresh eyes, and we very quickly were able to say, winter stuff is going up here, the other big bulky stuff is going downstairs. Then we began to label and containerize the rest of the things that were going through these spaces. We discovered really quickly that her arts and crafts area for the kids kind of needed an overhaul, but that wasn't a project for this day. We took containers and threw everything arts and crafts in there and put them away for another day and wrote a list for her. Now she knows arts and crafts needs to be gone through and edited on another day. We took the boots and put them downstairs in a tote and labeled them. Now they're out of the way and out of the first floor. Basically what we did was take the rest of those things, whether they were ready to go in their forever home or whether they needed another edit, we got them containerized, labeled, and put into their newer home for her to deal with on another day. That way, her laundry room is ready to go and clean and defined. We learned really quickly that she had just never defined what she did want in that space, so the laundry room became her catch-all. And part of the homework that I gave her was to say, what can go in there? And that way, she has to make faster decisions about those things that normally just get put in there for 2 years. That idea that clutter is just a decision delayed is right. Most of the things that we got rid of, her inclination was to get rid of those 6 months ago. She was just waiting. And we were able to say, no, you're done waiting. Let's get them out of here. Sometimes a great friend, I like to call myself a great friend, is a really great motivator because they're not attached to any of your stuff. It just looks like stuff to them. And they can come through and go, oh, let's get rid of that. And then you're like, oh. And the gift of getting that stuff out of your house and having a laundry room that has a counter for space was fabulous. Now, when I left, I said, that counter is clear. That becomes like hot lava. If you put anything on that counter, I want you to think of it burning up and incinerating. You can just fold laundry on that counter, but keep that open for yourself. Don't clutter that up with things that you don't know what to decide. Make yourself decide right away. I give myself a lot of those types of rules or systems or guidelines so that I don't put off decisions until later. I thought it was a really successful accomplishment of a major declutter. So when you're thinking about a space that you are overwhelmed with, and we all have them, think about pulling everything out that does not belong in there, edit what does, and label it and define that space really clearly for yourself. Then with the things that are left over, edit, get them gone right away as soon as possible to the thrift store or to their forever home. Containerize the things that are left and put them throughout the house where you'd like them to live, even if those other spaces aren't perfect. You can make a list and do those later, and then label what you do have and make notes for what you are going to accomplish at another time. That will help you stay on task for some of those big ones. I can't wait to see some before and after pictures of what you accomplished in your major spaces. Private message me if you don't want to show the before and after, or post them up on the page. Let's inspire each other. Let's not be perfect. Let's just get it done. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.